I say that every vlog. 2020, we kicking up the year right.
Anything else that you want to say?
All right, Black Girl White Coat. Black Girl White Coat is a social platform, a social initiative aimed at providing motivation, mentorship, and inspiration and representation for people of color who are looking to pursue careers in healthcare. Whether you want to be a doctor, whether you want to be a nurse, whether you want to be a PA, OT, whatever it is, we need representation and we need to see more of ourselves in those positions that we want to be in. Simple as that. I'm just here to fill in the gap. I'm here to be what I needed when I was younger so that the next generation has somebody to look up to, somebody to offer them advice, guidance, and mentorship. If I can do that, if I can reach one person, then I've succeeded. All right, y'all, Black Girl White Coat, we back again with another vlog. Pardon my voice, getting over a little bit of illness, but we here, turn up.
Yep.
We out here. As y'all can see, I have another guest with me today, and we are continuing in this FirstGen series. So, if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself for our viewers.
What's good, y'all? My name is Preston. I'm a third-year medical student at University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. I'm from Southwest Houston, Texas, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, okay. So, as you know, this series that you're being featured in right now, if you didn't know before you signed the contract, is FirstGen. Yep. And this series is really just about highlighting students, medical practitioners, whatever, that are first generation, whether it be in their family, in their community, or whatever, either to do higher education like college or get that kind of degree, or go to a professional school, or be the first Black physician in their family, or underrepresented physician in their family.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind sharing with us a little bit about your FirstGen story.
Okay, cool. So I kind of fit under all of those categories. Like, I'm FirstGen college student. My sister and I were the first in our family to go to, university. And then I'm also FirstGen med school as well. No one in my family has ever gone to medical school or did anything like that. So, I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed to have had just amazing opportunities. Mm-hmm. Part of it is also because I'm from Nigeria, born in Nigeria, moved to Southwest Houston.
I did not know you were born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Wow, so you're a fob. Okay.
Yikes. Well, I used to be, not too much right now.
How long ago did you, when did you move?
So I moved when I was 3 years old, and then I just would go back and forth. So, but used to have an accent, used to dress like I was fresh off the boat, everything like that.
There's nothing wrong with that,
There's nothing. I love it, and it's very integral to my character today and who the type of person I developed into. Yeah. And so I love my story. I love my culture and everything like that. So shout out to all the Nigerians, all the people. Yeah. So just coming up, parents put a very very strong emphasis on education, and so for me they were like, well, we came to America for you to do better than what we did, right? Yeah. For you to have a better story, for you to reach heights that we didn't reach. So college was never an optional thing, On top of that, not only you going to college, you're going to get a scholarship to go to college because we don't got money to pay for your education. Yeah. So that just really instilled a fire, drive in me from, very early on to work hard in school, get a scholarship to go to school, and then, go even higher from there. So then end up going to University of Notre Dame for undergrad. Shout out to all my fighting Irish.
I did not know you went to Notre Dame. Where is that?
In South Bend, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, so left Southwest Houston, go to South Bend, Indiana for 4 years.
Okay.
Culture shock.
Yes.
Completely different from...
We're going to come back to that for sure.
Yeah, so, it was rough in the beginning, not going to lie. But I met a lot of great people who helped me, get me through that first year and just helped, keep me grounded and keep me going. Then came back to Houston. I'd had a gap year, worked in education. I did freelance tutoring, and I worked at a couple tutoring centers because I realized, when you spend all your life being a student and pursuing med school, you don't have a whole lot of other marketable skills. At least I didn't. I majored in sociology and pre-med at Notre Dame, so I love sociology. Love talking about it, love learning about it, doing research into it, but I got out of school and I was like, how can I use this to make money in my gap year while still getting my application ready?
Well, they don't tell you that. That job is not coming with that undergrad.
And it can, but I was in a very unique situation, right? Because I just needed a job for a year. And then I'm
Yeah, so you couldn't commit. You couldn't show a company or whatever that you wanted to commit to their company for a certain amount of time.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was hard trying to, let companies know, like, I'm going to really be there and devote my time, but in like 9 months, I'm out, right? So yeah, I did that for a year, and then I matriculated to UTMB in Galveston, and it's been a great experience. I really love my school. I love the people I've met there. I love the opportunities I've been blessed with just because I'm a student there. And yeah, so right now I'm my 3rd year doing my emergency medicine rotation out in Angleton, Texas, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Any thoughts on what you want to pursue after this?
Yes. So I want to go into psychiatry.
Okay.
And it's funny because I paused because that's like, I know that's what I want to go into, but I always kind of hedge my bets a little bit because you just never know, right? You can fall in love with something else and then plans change. So right now I would say like psychiatry is definitely my #1 choice specialty. If that doesn't change this year, then of course that's what I'm doing next year.
Why psychiatry?
So a lot of different reasons. One, I really became passionate about mental health just from like experiences in undergrad. But also, once I started medical school, I started learning more about mental health, especially, a lot of stuff med students go through. I became very interested in it. And I think it holds a special place in my heart just because of, the discussion around mental health and seeking, help when you're feeling depressed or having anxiety within the Black community and the African community especially. I feel like there's still a lot of stigma there.
A lot of stigma, I agree.
I think part of the thing that we need to kind of dispel a lot of stigma is we need more providers who are Black, who are African, who are in those spaces so that, people who are trying to seek help have more options. And they have people who they think, are similar to them and can connect with them.
Yes. Okay. At first, I was trying to sway you to do the whole emergency medicine thing, but you almost made me cry just now. Okay. So I guess it's okay if you become a psychiatrist.
Okay. Thank you.
So taking it back a little bit in your story, you said that you were born in Nigeria, moved here when you were 3, and then you moved to the southwest side of Houston.
Yep.
What was it like growing up through elementary, middle school, and high school in that area? What did you have a lot of access or exposure to Black physicians? Did you see people doing the job you one day aspired to be? Or did you even know that you wanted to be a doctor back then?
I did know I wanted to be a doctor. And part of it just, growing up in a traditional Nigerian household, it's the joke that there's only a couple occupations you can really go into. You can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, pharmacist, lawyer.
That's it.
That's really it. Yeah, there's like 4 things, right? So of course, my parents were pushing me towards professional school from very early on. And then I realized that, I could see myself becoming a physician. I went to the Bakey High School for Health Professions in Houston, which kind of like really is geared towards students who are interested in becoming doctors, dentists, pharmacists, things like that. And even if you don't go into that route, it's just a great school overall. And so I did that. But yeah, growing up in Southwest Houston, it's crazy because even though I'm Nigerian, I know like there are a lot of Nigerian doctors and dentists and all of that. I personally didn't see them growing up. I actually didn't see any Black physicians until like college.
Yeah.
I did a summer program called SMDEP at Duke University, and it was mainly for minority students who want to go into med school.
Yeah.
And there I met other like-minded Black students who were pursuing the same field I was pursuing. I met Black doctors. I got to shadow them. I got to really immerse myself in what med school would be like. So I got a first-hand look into that, and I truly think it prepared me for med school. And it just gave me lifelong relationships and friendships that with those same people, and we're still close to this.
To the student who may have grown up similar to you in an area where they don't see a lot of Black, African American physicians or whatever it is, nurses or PTs, whatever it is, they don't see a lot of that in their community. What advice do you have to them to go out and get these opportunities or seek these opportunities? Because it sounds like even though you didn't see what you wanted to become, you were still able to constantly stay motivated and strive towards that goal. So how do you advise or how do you mentor a student who is also in the same kind of situation, the same kind of community, but still kind of thinks that they want to be a doctor, but they don't know how to go about that?
Right. So that's a great question. I think part of the issue is that there's just really a lack of information. Like for me, yes, there weren't that many Black physicians in my area, but Houston has a lot of Black physicians. I just didn't know where I could find them. I didn't know that there were organizations that they were part of. So I just didn't have a lot of guidance, a lot of information. So I would say definitely reach out to like, guidance counselors. They might be able to put you on to different things. There's like, different professional organizations that a lot of Black physicians are part of within each major city. So you can like kind of reach out to those organizations. You kind of just use Google to your advantage. I would say it really helps to create bonds with other people who are on that track, right?
Yeah.
For me, I was very, very fortunate because my two best friends from my high school are also in medical school now. So we've all been on the same path from like 9th grade, right? We all knew we wanted to be physicians. We got close very early in high school, and we just kind of kept each other motivated. And that was a huge blessing because, when things got tough or when I ever doubted, my abilities or my desire to go to medical school, they were there to remind me of that.
Yeah.
So I think having that, support system, that tribe around you who are like-minded, who are pursuing the same things you're pursuing is truly, truly a great way to stay motivated.
Black Girl White Coat exists for that very reason, to fill in that gap, that knowledge gap that may exist, and to also provide opportunities to have shadowing and mentorship opportunities with people who are in medical school like you and I, or people who have already made it to attending positions or residence or whatever. So.
Right. And it's a truly special thing because, when we were pre-meds and like high school students, that wasn't a thing.
It wasn't.
There weren't Instagram pages, there weren't, blogs, there weren't any, podcasts or YouTube stuff that like, showcased Black medical students, Black physicians, and gave people, information about MCAT and other resources to prepare yourself for med school.
Yeah.
So that's a very new thing. So what you do is very special and is very necessary. So keep doing your thing.
Why, thank you. So now we fast forward. So now you're in college. You do that whole preparatory program that helps you get into... It helps you just give you a glimpse of medical school, right?
Right. And it does, I truly believe, help you get into med school. Because part of it is because you get to take like physics and biochem and courses like that before you actually take them in college. So it kind of gives you an early glimpse into that. And also, like, you get to be on the med school campus using med school facilities. You get shadowing experience, which is very big when you're applying to med school. They want to see that you've actually taken the time to figure out and see what being a doctor is like. So shadowing is really big.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of shadowing experience through that as well. And then it's like when you do that program and you do well, a lot of times it's very likely that you get an interview from that same program when you are applying for med school. So right now, it was called SMDEP at the time. Right now, they've changed their name. I think it's SHP.
Yeah, like
right?
SHPEP or something like that.
Yeah.
SHPEP.
So just for people out there watching who are first year or second year students in college, that's a great program to really, use and apply to.
That'll definitely kickstart your whole application process to medical school, and that'll look great on your resume, your CV,
Definitely.
your application, everything. You said that you and your sister are the first two to go to college in your family.
Right.
Are you older than your sister?
No, she's 2 years older.
She's 2 years older.
Right.
Any challenges that you guys, maybe that you have discussed with her, or maybe that you just face on your own in college as the first in your family to do that?
I think it was just more about navigating that space for the first time with no guidance.
Yeah.
Right. So my sister, she's 2 years older than me. We're very close. Her name is Embler. I love her to death. She was the first, right? She was the first one to go to college. So like navigating the whole FAFSA system was new. We didn't have anybody to like show us how to do that. Tell us, exactly what documents we needed to fill out, all that paperwork. And so she had to really learn that all on her own. And then once getting to college, right? Things like, how to study, right? When to go to tutoring, stuff like moving into a dorm.
Yeah.
All of that was very new.
Yeah.
So we had to ask for help from family, friends to help her move in. And luckily she went to school in state, so it was able for her to get more support in that regard. But then when I went to school, so because Embler had already done like the FAFSA and stuff, she was able to help me with it. But then going to school out of state was a completely different ball game, right? Especially, 1,000 miles away in Indiana.
I can't even imagine. I'm struggling to consider going out of state for a residency program. Talk less of being younger, going through undergrad, and trying to do that away from family and friends. I don't know how you did it.
It was tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It was definitely tough. But, it really, really showed me how much I was capable of and how flexible and adaptive I am, right? So I was able to completely navigate a different space on my own, live on my own for the first time, far away from home, meet new people, make friends, stay safe and, not get into any trouble. So it was a great learning experience, and it did a lot for my growth and my development.
So throughout this whole college transition to medical school and during your gap year, did you have a mentor that you were talking to about the whole med school process? How was that knowledge gap filled for you?
That's another thing, lack of mentorship. So
I didn't have a mentor until medical school.
Right.
Medical school.
Even thinking about it now, I didn't have like a mentor. I didn't have a solid mentor that was like, yo, this is what you should do. This is what you need. Like, do this, and the other. I was kind of navigating that space on my own with my two best friends who were also applying at the same time.
Yeah.
So like when it came to where to apply, filling out secondaries, what you needed for interviews and stuff, I learned all of that just from, Googling things, Student Doctor Network, and just common sense, and figured it out as I went along. So I didn't really have a solid mentor until med school. And even now within med school, it's still kind of shaky, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's not, people make it sound, I'm sure even I make it sound easier than it actually is. To find somebody that the relationship works well enough where you like them and they like you, and you guys have this good, like, professional yet more comfortable-ish kind of relationship, it's kind of difficult. So I don't even blame you.
So I think what has worked for me is that I guess I have several mentors or pseudo mentors, people that, like, when I have questions I can ask, and people who, like, for example, who are also students who've taken the classes that I haven't taken yet, so they give me insight into that. And so, like, I kind of lean on all of them. I think when people think of a mentor, it's like I have this one person, this go-to person that they're going to help me, navigate whatever space I'm in, and they're going to help me, they're going to be an advocate for me in certain rooms, certain spaces, in terms of like applying programs and things like that. So in that sense, I'm still looking for a person like that that's solid, especially within psychiatry. Yeah. But I've met a lot of amazing Black psychiatrists recently, and I'm gonna make sure one of them becomes my go-to mentor.
That's the goal. What does being FirstGen mean to you overall? In every aspect that you've already described, what does it mean for you? What does it come with? A sense of pride? Does it come with a sense of responsibility? Is it daunting? Is it heavy to bear? Or what is it?
I think it's all of the above, because you get a sense of pride knowing, wow, I'm achieving, things that no one else in my family has achieved because of the sacrifices that they've made for me. So it's like you get a great sense of pride from that, especially from seeing, the look of pride on your parents' faces and the faces of your other family members who could have only dreamed to do what you're doing, and who know how much they sacrificed to get you into that space, into those rooms, and into that level of success. And so you get a great sense of pride from that, but it also comes with a great sense of responsibility. I think a lot of FirstGen students also tend to be lower income, and they also tend to have a lot of survivor's remorse, in a sense that, like, okay, I'm FirstGen, I might have come from a low-income neighborhood, or I might have come from, a unique family situation or whatever, and then I am now, here, right? I'm in college now, or I'm in professional school, or I have this great job, and all because of the sacrifices that other people made for you, but then you have this sense of responsibility that I got to take care of them now. Now it's time for me to sacrifice for them and to provide for them. I think that comes with a lot of responsibility. But also, I think if I had to describe it in one word, it would be resilience. Being FirstGen teaches you how to be resilient.
I like that.
In a lot of different situations. Because often you have to figure things out on the go. You have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to be flexible. And you have to, be strong and be tough at times as well. And it teaches you how much you can survive and take and continue to thrive at the same time. Yeah. So I would say it means resilience.
Resilience. I like that. In saying that being FirstGen, you have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to be resilient. What is your number one advice that you would give to a first-generation student watching this vlog right now who is having difficulties in whatever part of the journey they're in, but knows that they want to be a doctor one day, or a nurse one day, or a PA one day, or whatever? Your top piece of advice for that one student?
I would say my top piece of advice would be to be kind to yourself. And give yourself a lot of grace.
That's good. Do you preach on the side? Or you lead a Bible study?
Nah. But Because I think that's something that throughout the years I've struggled with. So it's something I have to constantly tell myself, even today. Because being first gen, a lot of times you're a perfectionist, right? You want everything to go perfectly. You want to make sure you're achieving at the highest level at all times. Man. And so if you don't meet that mark, sometimes you beat yourself up a lot.
You know what? I'm going to pause you right there. But I think that not only is that first gen, I want to say that that's maybe also increasing like the Nigerian community. Like being the children of Nigerian immigrants or whatever you want to call it, second generation, first generation, whatever it is now. Right. There's this level of perfection that you're constantly held to. You're raised with that in your household. You see it in your parents, and then you hold yourself to that same level of perfection. Exactly. And then us being human, we eventually fall short, right? One time or another. Exactly. And then how we recover from those moments, I think, defines the rest of our academic and whatever else life that we're gonna have after that.
That's very real. I think we grow up being told that, you know, we need to be the best. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It can be a very healthy and great thing. But, you know, that comes with a lot of, you know, pride as well. And if y'all know anything about Nigerians, we're prideful individuals.
Especially the men.
Not even gonna lie to you. You know,
can't
it
even
is
deny
what it
it.
is.
Exactly.
So then I think once you get to a level where it's like, yo, I might not be the best in this, you know, specific thing. Or, yo, I really tried my best and I kind of fell short of my goal. Like you said, how you recover from that is huge. Like how you are able to internalize that without seeing it as a failure, without seeing yourself as a failure. Just know that, you know, this is life. Sometimes you work very hard, you set very high, lofty goals, which you should, and sometimes you fall short of them. It doesn't mean that you are a personal failure. It doesn't mean that you didn't work hard enough.
It doesn't mean it's the end of the road.
It doesn't mean it's the end of the road. You can also bounce back and achieve higher, and you can still do very well. And so I think you have to give yourself a lot of grace and know that there's going to be bumps in the roads. You know, there's going to be times where you feel inadequate. I think a lot of us sometimes suffer from imposter syndrome. And for first generation students, I think that might be the number one thing that holds us back a lot of times is that imposter syndrome. Yes. Feeling like we're not deserving to be in a room. Feeling like we're not worthy of all the success that we've had. So I think my number one piece of advice is to give yourself grace and know that you are worthy.
Yeah. That's good. Listen, there's no better place to end this vlog than right there because he's about to have some of y'all in tears. I know he's speaking to some of y'all. If y'all have any questions for him, I am formally enrolling you as a mentor with Black Girl White Coat.
Okay, cool.
Okay. You feel okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. I'm going to put your contact information, email or whatever, down in the description box below. So if y'all have any questions or want to reach out to him about his journey or about where he's going or whatever, I'll put that information for you in the description box. If y'all want to hit me up, y'all know how to do that. I have the website, Instagram, and Twitter. Feel free to slide in my DMs at any time, okay? But that's it. That's it for us. So Black Girl White Coat, another vlog, first gen, we checking out. Say bye.
Bye.